Welcome back to the channel. My name's Adrian, and today I'm going to be talking about an expansion for one of my all-time favourite campaign settings using the Shadowdark rules, and that is Atomic Shadows. This is a post-apocalyptic world that rather frighteningly uses exploding dice. Now, this is something I've talked about a lot on this channel. It's one of my favourite mechanics, and this uses it in a great and equally nasty way, because when the dice explode, they explode when you're rolling hit points. So if you've got a D4 for hit points, you've got a 25% chance you're going to start with 5 hit points. But the dice explode for damage. They explode for when you're rolling for items. More importantly, and rather frighteningly from a player point of view, the games master, they explode for random encounters. So when I was going through this book, one of the big criticisms I always have when someone writes an original world, an idea, is I kind of always want a one-shot adventure in there, a first-level adventure, so the players, and more importantly, the games master, can get a grasp of what the creator is sort of building here. And I've had an interview with Ralph a few months ago as well, and we was talking. He says, look, I am planning an adventure, and I think it's really, well, I know it's really nice that the way this has been done, because when I show you on TTRPG, yes, you can pay for this, but he's also made it freely available. So if you are that player, the games master that goes, I really think it should be included for free, it can be, you can grab it for free. I will, say that really go and spend some money on it, be, 50 cents, $1, $2, whatever it may be. Reward the creators for their talent, especially when they're writing, doing the layouts and things like that. But let's just jump over to Drive for RPG and show the adventure. So it's called The Good, the Rad, and the Bugly. See what he did there? And I say it's by Walhalla Games, and it's written by Ralph Wall. Price, to say it's pay what you want. So you can pick it up for free if you want to, but say all you need to do is just click on one of these, and then you can go and add it to the cart from there as well. If you are going to pay for this, please do consider using my affiliate link. I will put it down in the video description, because I don't make a lot off this channel, so any money that is made from the affiliate link I'll then put back in to buy more things. So this adventure comes in at 17 pages, and I'll give you the outline of the adventure before we then go into the spoiler kind of area where if you're a player, that's kind of the section to jump out. So a local trader is running late from a caravan run from another wasteland settlement. You, the players, have been asked by the local mayor to go and find out where he is, escort him back to the town so people don't starve. That's the adventure. So it's a first level one-shot adventure. I have played this adventure. Ralph ran it live for us on my other channel, which is the Drive Dungeons and Dyslexia Tabletop Tales, which I'll put a link actually in the video description for the one shot. So if you want to see how it went, and you will see the wonders of exploding dice, which I'm not going to say anymore, but yeah, go and watch it and you'll get an idea of how incredibly talented people like us just play role playing. We're not Matt Mercers. We are just normal people role playing and having a blast. It was really good fun. I think it took about 2 hours. It was just under 2 hours then to get to the end of the adventure. So you have been warned. If you are a player, please step away. For a games master and you are planning to run this or buy this, you can stay here. Obviously, as a player, you can stay. I'm not saying that you have to leave, but you will find out things about the adventure if you play it that you probably don't want to know. So we've got the front cover here. So the good, the rad, and the bugly. So we've got some big bugs. We've got a 2-headed cow. Yeah, there's only 4 legs here and 2 heads because the post-apocalyptic world, loads of mutants and things like that in here. So writing, design, layout, maps, artwork is all done by Ralph himself. So we've then got the setting for the scene. So around 200 years ago, something cataclysmic happened. Nobody remembers, and we are now in this sort of desert wasteland kind of world with sort of broken down cars, variety of other things, but more importantly, there's a lot of mutants and mutations. Check out my review of the book. You can play some absolutely wild and weird things, but the players start in the settlement of Stagger and say this so far the goods they're waiting for haven't turned up. So the mayor, who just happens to be, is a guy called Dalton Nash, who just happens to be a bear, a mutated bear that stands upright and walks and talks like a man. He asks the players to go out and investigate, to encourage them, to get them a little bit of help, you should say. He does offer them some variety of equipment, things like armor, melee, range attack, range weapons, things like that, and med spray. Just go, here you go, just please go and find out. You are heroic. That's the hook. If you're playing the sort of player that goes, no, I don't want to do this, then you're probably in the wrong hobby. Because when the games master gives you a hook, it can be quite frustrating when the players don't take it, especially if you've bought an adventure. But it's a good enough hook, to go and help people. So we're going to get straight in, travel down the road, and after an hour or so, they are going to find that the bridge is out. So there's a gap in the bridge, and some of the planks and the woods have actually been thrown into the water. Again, I'm not going to really spoil it, but this is the only potential area for killing the players right at the start, because depending on which route they go, they can kind of go around the grass if they want to, or they can try and sort out what's going on with the bridge. But there is a 2 in 6 chance that there's going to be a D4 stitchers are going to fly by. Remember, D4. D4 has got a 25% chance of exploding. This is the only random bit that's in here. And so just be warned that if you roll a lot of 4s on there, this could go wrong very, very quickly. I would say, as this is going to be the very first encounter, if they go down that route, you may want to just not get too excited if you roll a lot of 4s, because you don't want to total TPK on the very first combat at the very start of the adventure. But obviously, again, depends on which way the players go, because they might go a different route around. They might try and go across the bridge. When they're going across the bridge, then there's going to be, as you can see here, there's going to be an ambush, and a variety of other things are going to happen. If the ambush becomes tough, Ralph does give a way out. We've got these 3 raccoons here that are going to turn up at some stage, and they are wearing bright Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses, and they carry oversized squirt guns, which is absolutely nice. And then there's this big blue 7-foot tall squirrel that's with them. Again, depends how the players interact with it. So this is really good because it's got social encounters and combat encounters. And say, I wouldn't, and Ralph didn't when he ran this, he didn't put any other random encounters in, because the players are first level. So everything is written here other than that 1d4 right at the start. So that's the only thing I would say to be wary of as a games master. You'll then eventually get to the final combat, which is the end bit, which is called the bug out. And you've got, well, you actually get to, it's the front cover. You get to see the cow that's in the middle. It's sort of stuck in this radioactive bog, which the player's going to have to think about how they're going to get into it, because outside of the bog, it's not radioactive, it's just the bog itself. And this bovid is actually stuck with the cart of the goods in there. Flying around are 4 sort of bloated black flies that will attack if you go near it. And we were like, okay, this is cool. We've got to the end. This is amazing. This is quite easy. We sort of kept our distance, did what we're going to do. And then this giant creature comes out of the cave and starts to attack us, which was a giant rad roach, which was is an interesting fight, I think you'll find. And, needless to say, we then, well, I'm not going to tell you what happened from the end. And then it will just give you an idea of what's, how to survive the bog if the player's going to go in there, and then all the equipment and stuff that's on the cart. And then we've got the sort of end of the adventure there. And then finally a character sheet. We say, look at this, equipment slots. Because of mutations, they can go very, very strong. And you might need a huge space for hit points, because I say, if you get a roll and explode on those hit points, you are going to feel really bloody special, because we've all played characters in Shadowdark with 1, maybe 2 hit points. And if you're rolling a d4, there's that little bit of smugness where you go, you might get a 1, you might get a 2. But if you roll a 4, and then you roll another 4, which actually happened, one of our players in the event when Ralph gave us the pre-gens, I think the d4 hit point player, I think he had 13 hit points, something like that. I was playing with 9. So, and then there was a couple of players played, I think I think Faz had 2, but it was really good to actually be able to play the world, because obviously, I'd say one of the downsides of Atomic Shadows is, as a games master, you've got to build the world out. There's tools in there for it, like the core rulebook of Shadowdark. You know, it's got rules and random tables for building things and the world and what you discover and go and find. But it's so much nicer to have a sort of starting adventure, just to get the players going, introduce them somewhere. You know, you've got a town, you've got a name for the town, you've got a couple of key NPCs that the players can talk to get to know. And like saying, meeting those raccoons in the Hawaiian shirts, you're like, okay, this is a very weird world, because I wouldn't have thought that. You know, and they've got squirty guns, which you think, well, I'm not going to tell you what's in there. You'll see it in the adventure, and we got to find out when we were playing, for reasons. Again, go and watch it. It's a really good adventure. So it's an amazing world. So really looking forward to where Ralph takes it from here. So if you are going to pick this up, I say you can pick it up for free, but please do pay something. Just go and reward Ralph for all his hard work and his genius for creating this one-shot adventure and world. So I'll leave it there. It's a nice short one today. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Come join me on Facebook. Come join me on my Discord. I do have a Patreon you can support me at as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.